Hi there. Okay, let's get started on writing our sales letter. Now, before I get started, I want you to notice over here, everything is closed except for two applications, ScreenFlow and Pages. Now, Pages is the document I'm going to use to actually write the sales letter, and ScreenFlow is what I'm using to record it as I go along. Now, I think it's really important that you keep everything closed. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and make this full screen so all we see is our page. I think that's really important because it's too easy to get distracted. Now, maybe you're better about this than I am, but confession time, I'm terrible. Absolutely terrible. I will look for any excuse to stop what I'm doing and jump at anything shiny that I see, whether that's a direct message on Twitter or an email or a ping from my RSS feed, anything. And that's the worst way to write, especially if you're writing something with as much precision as a sales letter. You absolutely want to be able to maintain your focus as well as you possibly can. So, having said that, make sure you keep everything closed and keep focused. And if you do that, you should be able to bang out your rough draft pretty quickly. I don't know that we can get this done in quite an hour, but that's what I'm going for. So let's get started. Now, the first thing we're going to do is want to start with our headline. Now, if you think about your headline, I really like to think of this as the promise. Whatever you're promising the reader, the rest of your copy is going to deliver on that promise. So if you think about our headline, actually, let me back up for a second. The sales letter that I want to write right now is for sales copy, right? So what I asked myself is, what promise would I want to be delivered? Now, you got to think about that. We're not really selling the ability to write a sales letter so much as the time and freedom that comes with the skill, right? I don't really care about writing a sales letter. Sure, they're fun. I have a lot of fun writing them because they help me tap into human psychology, and I like the storytelling aspect. I like plugging into all the laws of persuasion. I think that's a lot of fun. But if I never wrote a sales letter again, I'd be okay with that, as long as I was being well paid for fiction, for example, which I really genuinely love to write. Now, being able to write a sales letter makes me a better fiction writer, but I could live without writing the sales letter. The reason I want to write the sales letter is because I get time and I get freedom, because I can write one sales letter and get paid several $1,000s, and there's a lot of other smaller jobs I don't have to take. So if you can write an effective sales letter, you can charge top dollar for your copy. If you can charge top dollar for your copy, you can write the things you really want to write a whole lot faster. So our headline needs to be focused on being able to, we don't want it to be feature rich. As with everything else, we want to focus on the benefits. And that's about being able to write a quality sales letter fast, so that you can either build your own passive income streams on products that you create and sales letters that you write, or just being work for hire, but being able to bang through that sales letter. So if that's our benefit, then we want to think about, we want to wrap that feature into a curiosity-provoking headline that promises a solution. So the skill that allows a hardworking writer to take a few clients per month and reap all the rewards of a great writing life. Let's see. And remember, we can always change this later. So it's a template is important, right? We want it to be step by step, and we want people to make more money. And I like the question format. So let's see. How would you like a step by step system or template? I'm going to put template here, and I'll decide later. That will make it easy to make more money for every word you write. And let's put a subhead in there, so you can finally start making your writing dreams true. Okay. Now, I really like parentheses. I think they can be powerful. They're kind of like an automatic whisper to the audience. It's like you're drawing them in closer and telling them something more intimately. Now, this headline really speaks to me. I know from experience, a few well-paying clients can help everything else in your writing business fall into place. I also don't think it's over the top, which is great. I really don't like over the top headlines because often they fail to deliver, and I think that there's a disconnect there. For me, when I land on a page and it's automatically, instantly over-promising things, it kind of it makes me tune out. Most often, I'll just click away. But even if I don't, there's a part of my brain that's automatically just waiting for the bottom to fall out. I'm looking for reasons not to believe the copy. And that's not what you want. Just start out honest, start out direct, and you'll be much better. You have to be persuasive, but don't be manipulative, or at least overly manipulative. Yes, I realize that sales copy is designed to manipulate or drive behavior, but you don't have to be a jerk about it. Make your copy honest, and your buyer won't have buyer's remorse. So with our headline in place, let's identify the problem, right? Let's move down. Let's say, what's the biggest problem with writing a sales letter? I would say most writers think it's too hard, which it is if you don't know what you're doing. But that's what we're trying to fix. That's our solution. That's what this product is going to offer. It's going to demystify the process of writing a sales letter and make it something that anyone can execute. So that's what we're promising in the headline. So let's think about the problems. We have two problems, and one can lead into the other, right? The first is that most freelancers have no time at all to write for themselves, and they can't build the assets that are going to help them get off that hamster wheel and closer to their own personal happily ever after. So writing a sales letter would be a simple solution, but it comes with another big problem. Writing a sales letter is hard. It's a highly specialized skill, and really only the best copywriters are really good at it, or at least good enough at it to charge, 5 figures for a sales letter, or make a lot of money on their own products by writing their own sales letters. So if we build the case that all writers need more time and that sales letters can solve the problem, but that they're hard to write, it's going to be easy enough to lead our reader to the solution, right? So let's write some copy. Now, remember, we're just trying to get this down. We can add, elaborate, refine later. Thanks for bearing with me. I know I'm probably a little skittish and nervous, but it's all right. I'll get more comfortable as we go on. Let's start with a question. Are you happy with your freelance writing career? Then we answer the own question. Probably not. Most writers aren't. That's because it's hard. Really, really hard. I like these short sentences this way because it's more powerful. It might be different if you're writing direct mail where people are holding the letter and they're sitting down to read, but online attention spans are short. You really need to keep them moving down the page, and short sentences, short paragraphs, a lot of white space, it really helps with that. So the internet is flooded with freelance writers, right? Searching for opportunity. No surprise. An online writing career holds the promise of unlimited potential for writers who are willing to work hard. And climb their way to the top, rung by rung. See, I like little things like that, rung by rung. It tells you it's not easy, because that's really the truth. I don't know any writer who just went online and made it. It's really a slow process, and you have to be willing to work for every step. So I think that's important. When you're selling anything, you don't want to sell false illusions. You can make a great living selling hope, but that's not a business I want to be in, and I don't think it's a business you want to be in. It's always better to work a little harder and promise reality, because those customers that buy your reality are going to be long-term customers, and hope is fleeting, and it's a bad business to be in. So anyhow, the pay is solid, the flexibility fantastic, and let's face it, yeah, you get to see my awkward typing. Face it. Actually, you know what I want to do? I want to put this in parentheses, and let's face it, that whisper. The commute is about as good as it gets. So how are we supposed to compete? Against So how are we supposed to compete against the flood of freelancers on Elance, Guru, and Constant Content, many of whom are willing to work for rates that would barely pay the rent on a fifth floor Bangalore or walk-up? That's great. That's conversational. And ask a question that a lot of writers have asked themselves. How am I supposed to compete with overseas writers? It's a great question, and it's really, really hard. And I remember when I first started writing online how difficult it was to go onto these bidding sites and see that people were paying $5 for an article. I mean, actually, I saw stuff as low as $1 on an article, and I just thought, there's no way I can do that. And especially because I tended to overwrite and over edit anything, so I would spend an hour on a $5 article back then, and it really was just ludicrous. So in no time at all, in no time at all, most writers find themselves running in circles, running through the track, running around the same old track. No, running on the hamster wheel. That's great. In no time at all, most writers find themselves on the hamster wheel, running in circles, unable to break free from, I'm going to say, indentured servitude of low-paying copy. Now, honestly, I really like the word slavery here because it's a harsh, harsh word, but I think it's a bit too divisive, and my editor / partner, David, he doesn't let me get away with the word slavery. He always takes it out. He says it's just too much of an inflammatory word, which is one of the reasons I like it, but I totally understand why he's saying that, and it does have a certain connotation that I'm not trying to bring up, but indentured servitude works better anyway because you are getting paid. It's not slavery. So you are getting paid. It's just, like for me, when I was writing a lot of keyword articles, it was a kind of indentured servitude because I had enough to live, but I didn't ever make enough to actually break free from that. And that was very difficult. So one of the breaking points in my career was when I stopped writing those keyword articles altogether and decided to make no money rather than just a little bit of money, which is when I started to learn to write things like sales letters. And SEO copy was big for me back then too. So let's see. Keeping with that thought, sure, top tier copywriters earning $1. Earning $1 a word. The freelance bidding sites post jobs offering $1 an article. Now see, that's something right there. Every online writer who has started within the last year or two can relate to that, because no one starts out with the top tier jobs. We all go to the bidding sites and we see $1 an article, really? But I heard you can make X amount of money. And you can, but not if you're on the bidding sites bidding for bulk articles. It won't happen. So that naturally leads us to a question like, how can a struggling freelance writer ever hope to climb to the top? Well, then we want to leave them with an answer, right? Because learning to write an effective sales letter is kind of like a shortcut, right? You want to leave the keyword copy behind. Nobody gets in the online writing game so that they can write keyword copy. That person does not exist. There's nobody who says, you know what, I just want to write keyword articles for $1 or $2 in my spare time. No, we get into the writing game because we want to write books or we want to build an audience. We want to do something for ourselves. We don't want to write keyword articles. We write keyword articles because they pay the bills when we have no other choice. So we're really trying to leave that behind, right? So see, learning, I swear I wouldn't be typing so poorly if y'all weren't watching me, to write an effective sales letter is a shortcut to leave keyword copy behind forever and start making, yes, I know I missed that, you deserve to make and thought you'd be making when you started out on your online writing adventure. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Let's go back to ask any seasoned copywriter. There's no skill more lucrative than being able to write an effective sales letter. And that is true. My business partner, Lori, she makes $1.5 million a year, and that's primarily because she knows how to write great direct response letters. It is highly, highly lucrative, but you have to be good at it. You can't just go through the motions. And we'll get into all that. I mean, that's in the ebook. It's about empathizing with your market and really understanding them. If you can do that, you can write a great sales letter. But a sales letter isn't something you can fake. You can fake a keyword article. You can't fake a sales letter. So you kind of have to understand not just the template, but why it works the way it works. So that's why, yet, most writers never even try. And here's the point right here. This is a very important sentence. We got to say, this is where we simplify things. Say, writing a sales letter is easy so long as someone is willing to show you the way. And isn't that the truth? Writing a sales letter for me became a lot easier when I read, it was Joe Sugarman's book, the Ad Weekly. Sorry, I don't remember the title, but you can go to Amazon. It's just look up Joe Sugarman. It's the Ad Weekly. God, I sound like a fool right now. But anyway, that book, Joe Sugarman, Ad is in the title. It's a really, really, really great book because it really does kind of break apart what a good sales letter is. And it doesn't go through a template like this. I think this is a really solid template. And Joe Sugarman doesn't do that, but he does explain the whys of a sales letter, which I think are really, really important to understand. And there's no way I can get as much in depth in this video training as I would like to on that. But really, if you bought that and Influence by Robert Cialdini, I think it's actually called Persuasion, The Laws of Influence. Those two books are just fantastic and will teach you a lot about what you need to know to write a sales letter that goes beyond just the template. This template is great and it's a fantastic start, and it'll get you writing sales letters that are good enough to charge for and break you away from the keyword, but you really deserve and owe it to yourself to go more in depth than that. So anyway, writing a sales letter is easy so long as someone is willing to show you the way. And here's a part where I really want to put my own struggle in there because I had a very difficult time the first 2 years. And by explaining the difficulty I had, I'm going to bond with the reader. So I think that's important. So let's say it took me 2 long years to realize the same thing I'd love for you to recognize right now. That being able to write, oh no, how did that happen? to write a sales letter to feed and fuel my dreams. Sorry about that. Even if I only wrote 1 or 2 a month. Okay, so we made a pretty good case for the problem. Now we want to hit at the solution, all right? And then spend the rest of the letter massaging that solution toward our call to action, right? Okay, so we made the case, and now we want to tell them, we kind of promised them a solution, made the case for what the problem is, and twisted the knife a little. Now we want to tell them really what that solution is. So, what is it? It's someone to show them what to do, right? It's what we're doing right now. I'm walking you through the sales letter. So that's exactly what the buyer is going to want. All you need is someone to show you the way. Isn't that all what we want? That's what I wanted. In any information product I ever bought, I just wanted someone to show me the way. I wasn't one of those buyers who wanted someone to do it for me. I never wanted that. I wanted to learn the skill so I could use it over and over again. I just wanted someone to show me how to do it step by step so I didn't make any mistakes. So what if you could download an A, B, C simple sequence that made writing an effective sales letter as simple as, I don't want to say ABCs because I already said that, as plain with blocks, which is great because A, that ties into the promise of our headline, right? What if you could, let's see what we said in our headline up here, a step-by-step system or template that makes it easy, right? So a step-by-step simple sequence, that's our template, makes writing an effective sales letter as simple as playing with blocks because really we're just arranging the blocks of copy. So that's nice. I like that. Okay, let's see. That's what I have for you. Again, short sentences, keep the reader going down. I'm going to remind the reader that I had trouble, that I struggled, because that's the struggle I don't want buyers. I mean, my ideal buyer is someone like me 3 years ago who wants to skip some of that struggle, right? And if I do my job, they're going to be able to kind of leapfrog over some of the crap work and crap copy so that they can get more, right? So let's say I struggled 2 years longer than I needed to. Once I had a few clients who were finally willing to pay me what I was worth, everything else fell into place. And that's the truth. All you need are a few clients who really appreciate you and value your time, and the rest of your writing career can, well, just click. But it's all about having those clients, and this really does help. And like I said, it's guys like Joe Sugarman. That book really made a difference for me. Persuasion. Dan Kennedy, The Ultimate Sales Letter. That's a great book. I mean, I think it's $14. Buy it. It's the best $14 you could spend. Actually, that's a great point. So, unfortunately, I had to read 30 pounds of paperbacks, picking up all the direct response teachings from guys like Joe Sugarman, Dan Kennedy, and let's say Bob Bly. Actually, Bob Bly. And let's give a big shout out to David Frey, who actually is the author of this template that we're using. It literally took years. But what's the implication there? I don't want you to have to take years, right? So it's a shortcut. You don't have years to waste. You don't have years to waste. And even if you did, why would you want to to waste them. You wouldn't, right? So what if someone could not only tell you how to write a sales letter, but walk you through it step by step? And here's where you do. This is where you give them the solution. Just remind them, that's what I'm going to do. First, I'm going to give you a template that you can use over and over again to write highly effective sales letters. But fast, right? We want to talk about this fast. So just slightly slower than the speed of thought. That I'm going to let you peek over my shoulder as I write the letter live in front of you. It's really weird to be typing this as I'm writing the letter live in front of you. But that's the product I wanted to build. I really wanted to build something where, again, I would buy this. This makes me happy to be building this because I think it's a great way to teach. I know I would love to learn this way. So slightly slower than the speed of thought is a little hyperbolic, but it also fits. I mean, I'm talking this through with you, and granted, it's not, I'm not typing as I think, but I'm really thinking it out, and it is slower than the speed of thought. But it's pretty fast. I'm not quite sure how long we've been at it, but we're making good headway, I think. So let's say the internet is an awfully big place. It's possible some other copywriter has provided a solution as effective before, but I've never seen it, and I highly doubt it. Anyway, I've never seen a product like this, which is why I really wanted to build it. I think it's pretty cool. So anyway, now that I've offered a solution, we need to kind of dig deeper into that solution, explain it better, and then kind of back it up with some credentials, social proof, anything that's going to drive the buyer toward action. This is the part where I kind of say who I am and why the buyer or reader, you should pay attention to me. This part makes me a little uncomfortable because it's kind of like bragging a little bit, and that's not really natural for me. But I do understand why it's important in a sales letter, and I'm totally willing to play ball. But I don't know if you watch Mad Men, but I love this line in Mad Men where they're asking Don Draper, who is Don Draper? And he says, well, I don't know about you, but I was born in the Midwest. I was raised in the Midwest, and I was taught it's impolite to talk about yourself. And I get that. I understand why it's important in a sales letter, absolutely, but the shy part of me is slightly uncomfortable with this section, but it is important. So let's get to it. You're busy. You have copy to write and a future to build. I don't want to waste your time. So again, I'm offering my story because my story is part of the letter here because I'm part of the market. So I don't want to waste your time. I squandered my early years online plowing through mountains of keyword articles when I could have made a lot more money by simply adding sales copy to my services page and writing just a couple sales letters a month. And here's the key, because writing sales letters is awesome, but like I'm doing now, I'm writing a sales letter for my own product. And I'm going to be able to have a return on the time I spend on this product for a long time to come. So I think that's a really important message to put out there. And if I'd written those same sales letters for myself instead of clients, I'd still be making money on them today. Because it's awesome to get paid top dollar for a sales letter, but it's even cooler to get paid for a sales letter every single day. And hopefully, you know, I'll sell a few of these trainings every week. And that means that even a year from now, I'll still be making money on the sales letter. And that's awesome because that means I'll have plenty of money to fund things like writing the fiction novels that I really want to write. So, fortunately, I finally learned the same lesson I'm trying to teach you today. And that's important because the implication there is, look, you don't want to waste your time. Let's just get to it. Let's just do it. I've already done a lot of the heavy lifting. I've done a lot of the work. I've made a lot of the mistakes. So I can keep you from making the same mistakes. I can help you. And that's why I'm here. So this is the social proof part. So far this year, I've written copy for $1 million launch. That was in January, and it was awesome. I actually got some rev share on that, which was really, really cool. It's an amazing thing to be able to write copy and hear that copy used in a launch that generates 7 figures. Like, that's one of my finest moments as a writer. Consulted with clients at a quickly climbing rate, currently at $300 an hour. That's pretty awesome to be able to take a phone call and actually say, no, I can't, I'm too busy this week, I can't take your, I can't book an hour even at $300 an hour. That's a really, really amazing feeling, especially when 2 years ago I was begging for $10 keyword articles. That's really, really nice. And being able to write a sales letter is one of those things that really put me there. Published 4 books, including Writing Online, which is the most relevant to this audience, but I've also written a children's book and a passion book with several short stories that I love, and a horror book with David Wright that's called Available Darkness. That's great. I'm really proud of the work I've done so far this year, and I'll make money on every single one of those books. So that's really, really cool. But I don't think I should get into all the books. I think I should just stick with the one that's relevant to this audience. So let's say it's the definitive guide to building a web-based copywriting business, which means you have to be able to spell well. Gulp. Worked with an Academy Award winning producer to develop an information product, including sales copy. Of course, this is really fun. I'm building this product right now, actually. It's going to be really, really, really cool. I'm lucky to be involved with this one. You got to see exactly how dumb I am sometimes. Okay. I built a massive list of highly engaged subscribers. My open rates are off the hook. Some of the best I've ever seen in the business, but that's because I love what I do and I'm talking to my readers, not at them. Big difference there. I've had my copy retweeted over 10,000 times. Helps when you're on Copyblogger a lot, but yep, had my copy retweeted over 10,000 times, handled web copy for a $500 million company. Yeah, that's one of my biggest clients. It's a health insurance broker, and they're worth $500 million, and I do all their web work. Joined a mastermind group along with several millionaire copywriters. My partner, Lori Taylor, bought my way in there. I could not have afforded this myself, But it's been fantastic experience. It's been really, really amazing. Some of the best marketers in the world are in this group, and I just get to sit there and listen, and it is just fantastic. There's much, much more, and as we get to know one another, I'm sure you'll want to hear stories, and I'd love to tell them to you. But right now, I want to help you learn some of the essential skills that made it possible. Now see, that's a beautiful sentiment right there, because the longer I have a relationship with a buyer, the deeper that relationship goes, right? They're going to know more about me. They're going to know more about my successes, my failures, what makes things work, what makes things tick. And I love being able to impart that information. But the subtle suggestion there is that a buyer becomes a part of something bigger. They become a part of the club. They become privy to information that isn't available to them without becoming a buyer. And that's a nice, subtle, persuasive technique. So I really love the implication of a deeper relationship. Ultimately, what I want from my buyers isn't ever a quick sale. I want long-term relationships, and fewer buyers is okay with me because I want people who are going to do the work. Ultimately, their success is my success, and if I can help 100 copywriters build massively successful businesses, then I'm going to feel great and consider myself that much more successful, not just in the business that I built and the profit that I made, but how it makes me feel, because I want to do for others what was done for me. It's called paying it forward, and it's a really big part of my business. So the implication in that statement is that the relationship is just getting started and that there's much, much more. But I don't want to spend a lot of the sales letter space bragging or going on about it, because it doesn't serve me or the buyer. I really do need to get to the point. So after just a little bit of the credentials, it's time to start mentioning, the benefits. Now, this section of the sales letter is especially important, and we don't want to spend too long on it during our writing, because we really are trying to get through this as quickly as possible. But it is very deserving of extra attention through your revision. Don't make the mistake of focusing on features. It's really, really easy to do. It's super easy to confuse the difference between features and benefits, but you want to make sure you're telling your buyer what the product will do for them rather than simply what it does. So let's get started on that. What is our product going to do? It makes it easy to build a fan base, right? Because you're going to have more money, more time, and you can focus on your own work and your own writing rather than just client work. So let's say, learn to write a sales. Actually, no. Learn the art of writing a sales letter. And it will be easy. It will be infinitely easier to build a fan base. And what? And be better than the other guys. Let's see. Effective sales copy is about driving behavior and whether you want your readers to buy your products, tweet your posts, or turn your pages. Knowing what makes them tick is what will get you, what will put you at the top. So to clarify, that's exactly what this ebook will show you how to do. So let's say with this book, you'll be able to fly through the rough draft of your sales letter without trolling the internet on an information safari. Now, what's the big problem with looking through the internet for free information? It takes a long time. It's super time consuming. You don't really know what you can trust, what's good, what's bad. You don't know how to organize it. Where if you have specific information that tells you exactly how to do something with a sequence, then it's just more efficient. You don't have to cross-check your information, and you can trust it because it's organized. So, wondering who and what you can trust and how to organize your research so that it works for you. So what's the real benefit there? The feature is that it's organized, but the benefit is that you can start writing it by this time tomorrow. And maybe we even want to change that in the revision to a benefit that's if you can start writing your letter by this time tomorrow, then you can start making more the day after that. But that's good for now. We'll just say, with my cut to the quick training, you'll be writing your first sales letter. Arrgh. That's funny. By this time tomorrow. Let's make that exclamatory. And let's go ahead and add another benefit there. And making the money you deserve to be making. Okay, so let's really dial in on the benefits now. I will show you exactly how to let's couple some features and benefits. So write a sales letter with speed, but the extra benefit is you can write fast without sacrificing a single syllable quality. Brainstorm the smart way and turn a few minutes of research into sales letter gold. This refers to the Amazon strategy, which is just one of my favorite strategies in writing a sales letter or anything. It's just, if you need to do quick market research where you really want the language of the market, that's just beautiful. Tap into the fears, pain points, and frustrations of your market that lead directly to subscribers, sales, and lifelong customers. Just bring that point home. Tap Amazon.com to conduct lightning fast research. No. And highly effective market research. Let's see what else. You know what I think a very big part of this product is the template. It's a really, really effective template, and I know guys who make millions using it over and over. So we'll say use the exact formula millionaire copywriters use to write effective sales copy without wasting their valuable time. Because to me, that's the biggest benefit. I always care more about time than money. Always, always will. So if something will save me time, it's worth a lot of my money. Outline and organize your sales letter for maximum impact. again, going back to the template, I think the positioning of all this copy is really important. So from our promise, our headline at the top, to the call to action at the bottom, I think the way that's organized, the sequence is powerful. So let's say position your headlines and sequence your copy to keep your reader reading all the way from the top to your call to action at the bottom. Speed is important, but writing a sales letter fast, if it's not effective, is bogus. It does nothing for you. So let's say race through your rough draft for a sales letter that converts when you're done. Understand the real difference between features and benefits. That's a big one, right? Position your offer so your reader finds it hard, if not impossible, to say no. What we'll do next, the revision. Quickly revise your sales letter and triple its impact. And this is really important because you can take a good sales letter and make it great just with those few tweaks, a few changes in language, a little bit on the layout where you're using short sentences, and just a few tweaks can really take a letter from good to great. And good to great can mean a difference between 1% conversion and 3% conversion, which is 300% of the profit. So that is really important to be able to do that. We'll be able to revise this letter pretty quickly because obviously I've written a lot of sales letters, and so I don't make quite as many mistakes the first time around, and my spacing is usually fairly dead on, and my language choice is pretty good. So when you're writing your letter, you'll probably spend a little more time in the revision, but that's okay. The more you do, the better you'll get at it, and there will come a time when you can bang through a sales letter really, really, really quickly, especially if you know the market. I mean, it does help for this letter because I know writers, and I'm kind of writing this letter for myself, so it's an easy one to write. If I was writing in when I wrote copy for options trading product, it was much more difficult because I didn't know the market at all. I had to do a lot of research. So the ultimate benefit here is make more money for your copy for the rest of your life. That's a big one. Right now I'm in a place where I will never, ever, ever have to go back to writing keyword articles ever again. And it's because I've learned actual copywriting skills instead of just the normal how to write a keyword article, which there's a very low ceiling on what you can make there. So, okay. Once you let your buyer know what your product is going to do for them after they use it, you kind of want to let them know how it's different from all the other products out there, right? So this video training is different than every other product out there because it actually shows you step by step how to write a sales letter with everything from the writing to revision process in real time. Again, I think that's pretty novel, which is why I wanted to build the product, because I hadn't seen it out there before. I forget who said the quote, but there's a great quote on writing that if there's a book you want to read that doesn't exist, go ahead and write it. And that's how I felt about this product. There is no other product like this on the market. True that. Okay, so now we want to provide social proof. anything someone has said about you in a positive light that is directly related to the product or service you're trying to sell is aces here. Now, I'm going to take a shortcut and just go to my testimonials page on Ghostwriter Dad and copy and paste some of the testimonials in there. So it's not, it's easy for me to do, and maybe I'll add or subtract later, but that's good for now. Okay, so I'm going to pull this out of full screen, and I'm going to bring my window up here. Go to testimonials. Okay, let's see. This one works. Because it's not just what they say, it's how it relates to the audience. So this sentence right here is important. Any writer needing to steer themselves toward a more successful path would benefit from working with Sean. That works. Eric Paulson he works at Playtone. He's a Tom Hanks business partner. Love this. It's Brian Clark from Copyblogger, I owe a lot to Copyblogger. Any writer would benefit from Copyblogger, so that's a great one. I like this one too. This is my business partner, Lori. But this is from back before she was my business partner, Lori. What the modern writer needs to get there. That one is great. All right, we're going to go with this one right here because I like the direct response marketing sentence because that is what a sales letter is exactly. I think that's good. Okay, so let's move back into full screen, distraction free. Now, it's a good idea to keep a swipe file of testimonials so they're easy to use and you can find them whenever you need them. Just gather them as you go along. Few things are as ridiculously powerful as the words of others. It will always be more important what others say about you than what you say about yourself. Now, I've done an actual pretty poor job of this. I have lots of testimonials and I have them all over the place, and I rarely actually paste them back onto the testimonial page at Ghostwriter Dad, which is kind of stupid and pretty sloppy, and I really hope you do a better job than I do at that. So anyway, we've done a great job building our case, so now we want to make our offer. Now, this part is hard for a lot of writers, especially when they're not professional copywriters. And there's a big difference between being a writer and being a copywriter. Writers just want to write. We want to get the words out and have other people celebrate them. A copywriter's job is to write copy. In other words, we have to put language that's designed to drive someone to action. It's not enough just to have the words there. They need to do something. So you kind of have to get over your shyness, and you have to be unafraid to ask for the sale. If you're afraid to ask for the sale, your conversions are going to be dismal. Believe me, I know. I had to step out of myself a lot in that area, and it made a big difference. I wasn't writing copy that converted until I became unafraid to ask for the sale. And even now, it does kind of go against my grain, but I'm more comfortable with it, especially because I now enjoy the psychology of it all. And if you can get into the persuasion aspects and really understand it, it is fascinating, and it taps into your core love of writing, really, because that's what great writing is. It's driving emotion. Otherwise, why write? So the best way you can ensure you can really step in your offer is making an offer you're proud of. I love this product. It's something I would buy myself. It made it fun to create, and it's going to make it easy for me to sell. So if you're selling something you're proud of that you would buy yourself, it's not going to be difficult to make the offer. If it's something you would buy because you're not part of the market, that's okay. Simply try and put yourself in the mind of the market. But if you're selling a product you created and it's not a product you would buy yourself, dude, start over. Go directly to jail. Don't pass go and don't collect $200. You need to make a better product. Don't sell something you're not proud of. Your conversions will be low, your returns will be high, and you're just going to have to hang your head, look at the floor, and put your tail between your legs. Really, just don't do it. Spend the time to make something quality. If you're writing copy for a client, just do your best. Treat it as a learning experience and know that you'll be making your own product soon enough. Treat this job as an example of what not to do. Get through your copy, deliver it to your client, do your very best, and know that when it's your turn to make your own product, you will deliver and you will do your best job. All right, now, onto our offer. And again, we may spend more time on this in the revision, but for now, let's just get something down. If you want to get going now, go ahead and click the buy button below. I'm offering my ebook and full video training for how to write sales letters that work without wasting time for the ridiculously low price of $197. I love the hyperbole there, the ridiculously low price of $197, but that's actually how I talk. I use the word ridiculously a lot. I'm sick and tired of paying for ebooks that justify the price of page after page of empty puffery. In just 40 pages, let's see, we'll probably have 1, 2, 3, 4 videos, though I can change this later if there's more or less. You'll be left with a lifelong skill that can help you earn thousands of dollars. And this part would speak to me much more than thousands of dollars and hundreds of hours for you. That's really important, the time aspect. Now, I like what I did here because it's $197 for a digital product, right? I mean, it's going to be a download. It only costs me time to make it once. After that, there's no ink, there's no printing, there's no shipping. So it doesn't cost much more to fulfill 1,000 customers as it does to fulfill the first customer. Yet, it's only 40 pages and 4 videos. Yet, because we're reframing the offer, $197 is low because you're not paying for the actual content you get, you're paying for the ability it gives you and it leaves you with. So now we want to spend another minute justifying that price. A copywriter's time is expensive. Right now, my consulting rate is $300 minimum. No joke, this will be $500 shortly. I don't have enough time as it is. That's when I'm taking consulting work. Most of the time, these days, I'm focused on building products for myself and my partners, along with writing the books that fill me with joy. Okay, we may we may make that a little less syrupy in the revision, but that is actually how I talk. That's why I built this product. I wanted to help as many writers as I could, moving an entire colony of copywriters, budding copywriters, closer to their dreams, giving them a full day's worth of training that they can watch at their leisure over and over again, all for significantly less than the cost of an hour of my time. Win, win. See, so it's all about framing, because if someone were to hire me to show them how to write a sales letter, it would be not worth my time or too expensive for them. Yet this way, everyone wins. So another thing this does is this part of the copy segments the audience. It's them versus us, which always works. In this case, it's writers against the world. It's writers, after all, we're all in this together, right? So we may add a little more to the guarantee and the revision, but for now, it's good to go. So let's just do one more thing for now. So let's just go ahead and add this one last thought before we move on. Yes, 197 is a ridiculously low price. And yes, I may have to curb the number of times I use ridiculous in the final. But that's because I don't plan on making a lot of money from this ebook. This is just one thin thread in the fabric of my business. I make my living from many other assets. I'm building the books I publish and my quickly climbing consulting fees. I wrote this book for you. And am doing this video training for you. And me. I wrote this book for the me who was struggling 3 years ago. He's a lot like you right now. Okay, so now we're getting into scarcity. This part is more difficult, and it's a place where I feel like a lot of writers and marketers just lose their audience. It's really easy to do scarcity wrong, especially with digital products. And if you do it wrong, not only are you going to sound like a jerk, you're going to be a jerk. And you don't want to be a jerk. So let's make sure we do this right. Rather than spouting garbage like supplies are limited or saying the price is going up. I think this price is fair and I have no plans to raise it, so I'm not going to say that. It's a good idea to focus your scarcity on legitimate reasons. For this product, the best scarcity I can use is support. My time is legitimately limited, and I can offer a level of support early buyers that I just won't be able to later on. So a great level of scarcity would be maybe buy today and you can ask me a question, maybe email support. That's actually good. I'm going to need to think this out right now. I'd like to do a sales letter critique, but there's no way I could do that to justify the time. Be email support, email questions. I'm actually going to pause this video right now and give this some thought, and I will be back. I'm back. So I think the best thing to do is to just email support. Email support is great because if anyone has a question, they can answer it, and I can or I mean, they can ask it and I can quickly answer that, spend a little in depth if I need to, but it's not like going over a whole entire letter. And most people's questions tend to be pretty quick. Does this headline work? How about this structure? Do you think that this offer works? And those are the kind of questions that can really be that 2 millimeter difference that makes a sales letter great and really adds to the conversion. So I think that offering email support to the first 100 buyers or so is a great incentive. So let's say I'm going to offer free unlimited email support to the first 100 buyers. I think I'd like to elaborate on that a little bit, but I don't want to lose my flow, so we'll save that for the revision. But really, after we get in that, we put in the scarcity, and the scarcity with digital products just makes me a little uncomfortable because you want to be as authentic as possible. So you don't want to ever do the supplies are limited or just pull that because it really is garbage. So I want to go into the guarantee without spending too much time on the scarcity. Free email support for the first 100 buyers I think is great. I couldn't really afford to do it for more than that because if everybody who bought got free email support, then I could get bogged down with just this product. And really, I want to be writing as much as possible right now. So let's do that, and then we'll go into the guarantee. Like everything else in the sales letter, the guarantee is really, really important. Buyers want to feel safe, especially online. And you can do that by putting, your VeriSeals and the different little graphics and logos with the credit card companies that, PayPal has a kind of instantly communicates trust to your audience. And all of that is really good stuff. But really, you just want to make people feel safe. I mean, especially online, it really does make a difference. So eliminate 100% of the risk and give them the best possible guarantee that doesn't actually cost you any money. And that's the best way to kind of minimize that risk or eliminate the risk and make them feel comfortable to click the buy button. And if you're confident in your product, it shouldn't be too difficult at all. I'm really confident in giving a 100% money back guarantee in this product because I believe that if you go through it, it's going to help you write a damn good sales letter quickly. And if it doesn't work for you, then you should get your money back. No problem there. So it's easy for me to give a guarantee to this product. And another thing, I don't think you should just stop at a guarantee. I think you should make a guarantee almost part of your offer. And if your guarantee is really good enough, then it's a great place to elevate the perceived value of the product. So let's say if your buyer feels any risk, your guarantee is not good enough, right? But if your guarantee is so strong that it eliminates the risk and actually becomes part of the offer, then your offer is that much more compelling and your odds of having much higher conversions really do skyrocket. So I really like using a specific kind of guarantee. I call it the pay it forward guarantee. And I think it's a great guarantee for both the buyer and the seller as long as the product is good. And I think this product particularly fits the pay it forward guarantee really well. And what that is I basically say, this product is great. And if you like it, awesome. And if you don't, that's fine. Not only will I give you your money back, I'll send the product to one of your friends. Now, writers are all, we hang in a crowd, right? So let's say I bought this and it didn't work out for me, but I could send it to my friend Dave, who I know would love to learn how to write a sales letter. So I get to look like a hero to him, even though the product didn't work for me, and I get my money back. Now, what you may be thinking is, won't some people take advantage of this? And unfortunately, yes, they will. Some people will take advantage of it. They'll use it, they'll write a great letter, they'll get the skill set, then they'll want their money back, and they'll have it sent to their friend. So you lose, lose, lose. But the good part is, all you got to do is track their name and make sure you take them off your buyers list and don't let them buy from you again. And it really is as simple as that. there are people who are habitual returners and they buy everything and they ask for their money back and they get your information and aren't willing to pay for it. Just make sure that they're not a part of your on your buyer's list. They don't get mailed your offers. And if they try to give you money the first time, just refuse it ahead of time. It's cut them off at the pass. That's the best thing to do. Okay, so anyway, let's see. This video training is easily worth, I don't know, what would I pay to learn to write a sales letter like this? $4.97 for the skill set it gives you. Certainly if I was working with someone one-on-one for this amount of time, it would easily be that. And that's exactly what most of the writers and marketers would have priced it. But that's not me. And that's not how I roll. Now this sounds like me in real life, but I may edit that to sound a little different in the final product. I don't know if that's how I roll. It will work as well in the sales copy. I just want you to get started with the same template I would have killed for just 3 years ago. And not only do I want to give you, okay, I'm probably gonna have to take out some of these ridiculously low price of $197. I want to give you the best guarantee I could possibly. Okay, that's not very neat. I want to check something real quick. Okay. Yeah, I don't, that looks a little messy, but I'll clean that up in the revision. If this training doesn't set you on the road to writing a high converting sales letter, just let me know anytime within the next 30 days and I'll refund every penny with a giant smile on my slightly oversized face. Yeah, I've got those big features. I used to get Balky Bartokomous when I was a kid. Now I get Ray Romano or Zach Braff. Say, it's true. My friends think I look like Ray Romano. Like the training, my guarantee goes above and beyond. If you're unhappy, I'm unhappy. So I'll gladly refund 100% of your money with a giant smile on my giant mug. But I'll also send a copy of the, let's not call this an ebook, let's call this a training, to one of your friends on the house. I call this the Pay It Forward Guarantee. Let's bold type that. So then re-emphasize what that is. Maybe we'll have to explain this in detail later. Even if the training doesn't work for you, it will work for someone. So even if you don't absolutely love it, you can still be a hero to someone. Okay, I may elaborate on that a little bit later, but I'm happy with that for now. Before we get into the next section, this part really isn't in the template, but I think that it's always good to have a part in your sales letter that tells the audience that the product isn't for them. So look, not every product is for everyone. And there are people who I would rather they not buy this product at all. I don't want them to ask for a refund. But even beyond the refunds, I don't want them to buy something that they're not going to use and then think that they spent money where they shouldn't have spent, and I'm the reason for that. I'm the fault for that. I don't want to be a scapegoat for why someone isn't succeeding. I want people to succeed because of what I did, not because of what they didn't do. So that's a really big deal for me. So I think it's a good idea really in any product to isolate the people who you don't want to buy the product and let them know that you want them to buy the product. But that also works for the people who do want to buy the product because it helps to crystallize their whys in their mind. So you'll see what I mean as soon as I bang this out. This part's pretty easy. But one word of warning. This book is not a magic bullet. If you can't write, don't understand basic language, are unwilling to do the work, or are expecting to download pixie dust or magic beans, this product is not for you. You would be surprised how many people there really are that fit this category. They buy information products and feel like with the click of a button and an exchange of $100 or $200, they've come that much closer to their dreams. But that's kind of a ridiculous assumption. Oh, see, that's ridiculous again. It's you have to do the work. Nothing in life is free and nothing comes with a download. A download is just the information. I mean, it's the ingredients, but you still have to cook the meal. It doesn't happen by itself. So, yeah, I'll still refund your money. But I'm asking you to please not waste time for either one of us by purchasing something you'll never use. Now I can go back into who it is for. And I like this. I like this flow a lot. If this is for you, then 197 is nothing. Considering you get easy ways to... Okay, and here's a good part where we kind of go back up to these benefits. Let's see where they are. Let's take these benefits right here. And actually, never mind. Forget that. I'll just kind of... I was going to copy and paste them and then rewrite them, but I think I may do a better job making it sound more natural if I just go off the top of my head right now. So let's say fly through the rough draft of your letter and have more time for you and your family. Make brainstorming as easy as building with blocks. I like that, brainstorming, building with blocks. Nice alliteration there. Tap directly into the mind of your market. Why? So you can get results. Use Amazon for cutting edge research that puts you far ahead of the competition. Use the same formula millionaire copywriters use every day. Position your offer. Your reader can't say no. Create a call to action. Makes it what? Easy for your buyer to click. Really, that's what it is all about. Everything you need to write an effective sales page and add the skill to your toolbox. Forever is yours. When? Starting with a click and a download. See, that's immediacy, and especially today, people love immediate. Bam! They know it's not that the work is automatically done, but they're on their way to a solution. You've presented your argument, you made the offer, you made them feel safe with the guarantee, and now with a click, an exchange of money, and an immediate download, they're that much closer to their solution. Is it there yet? No, they still have all the work to do. But at least they have a solution. It's on the way, and as long as they apply themselves and spend the time, commit to it really, they have to buy the solution and then commit to the solution to execute the solution. But they have everything they need, and that's a really, really big deal. So just reemphasize that one more time. In less than a minute, your writing life could change forever. Just click the buy button, and you can be charging more for your copy by this time tomorrow. And that's good because you really want to build that argument. And it's true, everyone knows your life really can change from one moment to the next. Mine came the Christmas of 2009 when I got a box of copywriting books delivered to me. It made a really huge difference. Before then, everything was about how pretty my copy could sound. I didn't realize that pretty didn't matter at all. In fact, it could hurt me. But someone sent me a box of Dan Kennedy and Joe Sugarman and Ovelli, and those books changed my life. Persuasion, I think I mentioned that one earlier. It's a great book. You need to read that kind of stuff because it will make your copywriting so much better than the other guys. Especially if a lot of your peers are trying to learn how to write direct response copy from reading blogs. It's just not going to happen. You really got to go to the old school guys. I mean, there are blogs out there that do a fantastic job. I would not be where I am without Copyblogger. They really helped put me on the road. But you got to go back in time because those guys who were doing it by mail, they knew what was up. So anyhow, now we need to tell our reader what to do. And this is a big thing because one of the problems that a lot of writers have is they make way too many assumptions. And not only do we occasionally stray on the wrong side of clarity by trying to be clever, we also shy away from the most fundamental rule of an effective call to action. That's you have to tell your reader exactly what to do. Don't make assumptions. If you make an assumption, you're shortchanging yourself. Yet, if you tell your readers exactly what to do, it's kind of like a little remote control that you're pushing, and you're going to get a larger percentage of your readers to take action, and it's going to be the action you need them to take. Now, online, especially on blogs, most copy doesn't do that. That's why most copy doesn't deliver the intended or the expected results. If you don't have a strong call to action, then your sales letter is like half mute. And yeah, the term call to action might sound a little bit over the top, like a few words at the end of your copy are the same as horns blaring across the prairie as the cavalry comes across the battlefield. But it really is true. If you've held your reader's attention from the promise in your headline all the way through every benefit, through your offer, through your guarantee, through everything, all the way to the call to action, it is not the time to take a tentative step back. That's when you really need to tell your reader exactly what to do, how to do it, and then remind them that you want them to do it right now. Okay, you want to use highly specific language with clear, concrete details. Don't leave any question about what you want to see happen, and don't be afraid to be too obvious, because that's really impossible. For the novice copywriter or someone like me a few years ago who was just trying to figure it all out, and I was spending a lot of time on my blog, and I was going for comments and attention rather than conversion, and I didn't really understand the gray area in between. It felt strange, and it was hard for the shy introvert writer inside me to come out. But you kind of need to shed that skin, and you need to put yourself in the mind of the reader, because in their mind, it's an exact level of detail that will let them know what to do next. And not only let them know what to do next, but to feel comfortable with what to expect, which is a really big deal. So a lot of this, I'm just going to put in some dummy text right now because this part will change a lot. I don't really know what buttons. My developer, Danny, will be finishing this part of the sales page. So contingent on what his buttons look like and where they're placed, my directions will change, but I kind of have some idea, so I'm just going to go ahead and write that out. And if it changes later, or when it changes later, I'll deal with that then. But for the purposes of getting this sales letter, let's just imagine it's a simple buy button, and that the product is running through ClickBank. And I don't know if we'll do ClickBank or eJunkie for this, but we'll pretend ClickBank, and I'll just go ahead and write it as if. So here's how to order. Simply click the order button below to be taken to our ultra private. Again, this makes people feel safe. Secure, use those words, secure, private shopping cart, which is 100% safe and tested every single day by ClickBank. And fill out the order form. Complete your purchase for just $197. I want to say this may be unnecessary, but I like stuff like this. Complete your purchase and start your new writing life. Receive instructions to download your how to write a sales letter. I forgot the sit without wasting your time. Training course in just seconds. Exclamatory. Your order is 100% secure by the world's largest and most trusted online processor. And I like that. That's one of the reasons to use ClickBank instead of eJunkie. There are a lot of things I love about eJunkie, but as far as affiliates, ClickBank is better than eJunkie, and I really like that you can say this. Your order is 100% secure by the world's largest and most trusted online processor. That's a great sentence, and it's almost worth picking them just for that. I'm available by email to handle any questions or concerns you have. And I think that's important right there. Even people who don't get free email support. Anyone who buys can ask me a question by email, of course, and I want to help smooth out any hiccups or problems with the order process. That's really important to me. So, finish that. Just click add to cart to get started. Okay, and just a few more notes on this section of the page. Now, again, I'm fortunate enough to have Danny, who's going to take care of all this layout for me, and I don't have to worry about it. But it really is important. You know, ask yourself, does your button stand out? Because a pretty button that blends in with your website's design isn't nearly as effective as a big old ugly button that begs for attention. It's just true. And I know that that my partner Dave and I went through. We always tried to make things look good. I mean, that was part of our thing. We're both aesthetic men, and we wanted buttons that went with the design of our page and the design of our sites. And that's a bad move, really, because a button that is garish and ugly is always going to outperform a button that's pretty. Always, 100% of the time. The garish one grabs attention, and you know, like when you're raising children, have you ever heard the whole term where, God, I just don't know why Johnny's acting this way? You know, he always gets in trouble. Well, it's attention. Yeah, but it's not the right kind of attention. Doesn't matter. Even negative attention. Attention is attention. Children want attention. It's the same thing. Think of your button as a naughty kid. A naughty kid is still going to get attention. So make sure that your button's there. Also, make sure there aren't too many choices or hoops to jump through for your buyer to purchase. Really, you want to eliminate as many barriers to entry as possible. So the simpler your offer and the easier it is for them to just click the button, the more likely you're going to be to make a sale. If you're using a regular WordPress blog as your sales page, that's awesome, but make sure you eliminate your sidebars or any distracting links that might distract your reader or take them away from the page. You want them to stay there. You want them to finish the sale. Okay? All right, so now we're moving on to the very end of here, and we want a warning. It's time to give our reader a warning. Now, all we're doing here is reaffirming much of what we've said earlier. So we're letting our reader know what's going to happen if they don't buy the product or service. Remember all the benefits we talked about? A life without them is exactly what your reader's going to experience if they fail to buy. So if you've done a great job illustrating a life with your product's potential benefits, then this part of the letter should be really easy. And for the writer inside you, it should be fun, because the warning's a great place to allow your product to stand out, and you get to paint the picture of what life is like without it. Can a comparable solution be found elsewhere, or is your product unique enough to eliminate suffering better than the condition? Than the competition? Now, for this product, I was lucky because I've never ever seen another How to Write a Sales Letter product like this. Nothing walks the reader through the writing process from start to finish. In fact, I've never seen a writing product like that at all. And doing this has been a lot of fun so far, and I'm thinking about doing other kinds, although I don't know what at this point. But I think it's a really neat way to learn, and it's been a great way to teach so far, although no one's seen it, so I don't know what the feedback is yet. But because it's exactly the type of product I would buy, it makes it easy for me to write this page and sell it, and I get excited. So once the appropriate picture is painted, I'm uncomfortable thinking about what life would be like if I were to ignore the product, right? So if I'm a buyer of this product and I hear, oh, so someone would walk me through every single step of the sales letter writing process, and I get excited about that idea, I certainly don't want that idea taken away from me, right? So really the last thing before I start writing this section of the sales letter, I just want to say focusing on the missed benefits is great, but you also want to revisit the pain points from the first part of the letter, because the pain and struggle that your reader was facing when they landed on the page, that's an excellent place to return to when you're crafting an effective warning. So what I'm going to do what I was going to do with the benefits. And let's see. I'm going to start right here. And then I'm going to take this. I think for speed, this is a good thing to do right here. So I'm going to take everything that I said earlier and re-say it. You deserve to be happy with your freelance writing career. And you deserve for it to be simple. You deserve to stand out in an internet flooded with freelancers. Okay. So then you're still painting the picture. You don't want to stay on the hamster wheel, running in circles. You want to break free. And earn what the top tier copywriters are making. but without the proper tools, that's going to be hard to do. With the right system, any struggling freelance writer can finally climb to the top. Now, the flow here might be broken because we really are just copy, pasty, rewritey, but that's okay. We'll fix that in the revision. That. Don't spend your life wondering what would have happened if only you had tried. You owe it to yourself to see how easy writing a sales letter can actually be. Don't waste years, precious years of your life when you could take advantage of the solution right now. Being able to write a sales letter is a lucrative enough skill to feed your family and fuel your dreams, even if you only wrote 1 or 2 a month. Remind them, download an ABC Simple sequence that will make writing an effective sales letter as simple as playing with blocks. So I'm going to get rid of all of that. Okay. So that's pretty good. We want to close with a reminder. We kind of want to, okay, so we're going to close right now with a PS, really. I'm going to say bye one more time. I'm just not really, I do this sometimes. I'm not really in the frame to add one more call to action, so I'm just bye one more time, and then in the revision, I'll come back to that and make it flow with what's above and below it. But I don't want to waste a lot of time doing that right now. I kind of want to just get to the PSs. I want to summarize the solution, remind the potential buyer of the possible benefits of the offer, and basically give them one final reason to click. The PSs are really powerful. They are often the first and final thing a reader sees. So I want to do a great job, finish up, get this puppy barking, and then start on the revision. So, buy one more time, and then PS. I want to see you start writing a sales letter. No. Writing your first great sales letter. Immediately click the buy button and read the short ebook, then watch the video training. You can have your first sales letter finished by this time tomorrow. PPS. Remind them of the guarantee. If at any time in the next 30 days you're unhappy with your results, simply send me an email and I'll happily refund your money. No need to repeat the Ray Romano joke. Plus, I'll send a copy of how to write sales letters at work without wasting your time. I need to be consistent on whatever I'm calling this to one of your friends. Again, that'll come in the revision. One final PS. I think anything more than 3 is just silly, but this training is fantastic. I'm thrilled to give you the tools you need to write a killer sales letter while making the process A, B, C simple. Best of all, I'm ecstatic to give you a skill that will help you make more for every word and forge a bond with your reader. No matter what dreams you're planning to write. Us writers are dreamers, aren't we? Okay. I'm really happy with this. This is a great first draft. I'm looking forward to revising it, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for bearing with me. I know that was long.